In this particular case, we were searching for fellow professional mariners. We were also searching for members of the extended Coast Guard family. One of our Coast Guard petty officers, chief petty officers, had a brother that was on the El Faro. I received an email yesterday from one of our civilian employees at the Coast Guard Yard in Baltimore, Maryland, and he told me that his family friends, good family friends, that he saw one of the crew members come home as a baby, saw him grow up, saw him go off on the El Faro. So those type of things make it very personal as we search. But I know that the Coast Guard, along with our brethren in the Navy and the Air Force, as well as the commercial tugs that were out there helping us search, did all they could in this search effort. They did all they could. Our Coast Guard crews, our aircraft, flew repeatedly into that storm at dangerously low altitudes to try to find the ship, find survivors. On Sunday, one of our helicopters flew for 11 hours, over 11 hours, including 2 in-flight refuelings, because they wanted to keep that search going during the best search opportunity that we had on Sunday. Our cutter crews, as soon as they arrived on scene, it was an all-hands effort. Folks who don't usually go to the bridge, engineers, cooks, did so. And they grabbed binoculars, night vision goggles, and would stay up there for hours scanning the horizon. So it meant a lot to them. I say all this because I want the families to really know how committed we were to finding their loved ones, to finding our fellow professional mariners, and really to find those who go down to the sea in ships and do work upon great waters. I hope the families can take some small measure of peace from that. So as most of you know, there will be an investigation now that the official search will be suspended at sunset tonight. And I would like to introduce Vice Chairman Dinzar from the National Transportation Safety Board, who will make a statement as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Bella Dinzar, Vice Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. As we reported last night, investigators from the NTSB arrived on scene here in Jacksonville yesterday morning, and we began our on-scene investigation of the sinking of the El Faro that occurred on October 1st. Before I tell you about our investigative process, I want to extend our condolences on behalf of everyone at NTSB to the families and friends of the victims of this tragic accident. And we, along with all of you, were very saddened to learn that no survivors have been found. Our Transportation Disaster Assistance, or Family Assistance Group, has been tirelessly working with the teams that have already been provided by the U.S. Coast Guard and by TOTE to assist and inform the families, and they will continue to do this. They will continue to support all the families with missing loved ones throughout our investigation, both here on the scene and as the accident investigation progresses. As I've previously mentioned, although both the NTSB and the U.S. Coast Guard have the authority to conduct marine casualty investigations, the NTSB is the lead agency on this accident investigation. I'd like to explain a little more in detail about the NTSB's party process, which we've had in place for over 30 years. The NTSB offers party status to those companies, governments, and associations that have employees, facilities, or equipment that are involved in this accident. We offer party status to these organizations because they can provide the technical expertise and the relevant information supporting the development of the best factual record that we can get. We've established parties to this investigation, and the parties include the U.S. Coast Guard, the American Bureau of Shipping, and TOTE. The NTSB has put together a multidisciplinary team to investigate every aspect of this accident. The team is led by investigator in charge Thomas Rothroffy, to my right, who has extensive experience, long-time experience in marine investigations. And he also has a group of highly experienced investigators who have made progress in a number of areas. So here is what our investigators are working on as we speak. Our operations group has been scheduling and conducting interviews. Specifically, they're interviewing the master of El Yunque, which is the sister ship of the El Faro. Our engineering group has obtained the vessel's safety management system. They're interviewing the tote designated person ashore who had the last communications with the vessel. They're collecting documentation and scheduling interviews with the off-rotation members of the crew. In the area of survival factors, our investigators are reviewing areas of the safety management system as well. They'll be examining the wreckage which has been recovered during the search and the rescue phase of this operation, and also further wreckage as it becomes available. Our human performance team is hard at work gathering personnel records and scheduling interviews. And to clarify, up to this point, the Coast Guard has been conducting search and rescue operations. The Coast Guard equipment that is used for search and rescue is different from the equipment that will be used to locate the vessel and the voyage data recorder. We are coordinating with the United States Navy to bring in that equipment. We also wanted to provide you an update on the voyage data recorder, or the VDR. The VDR, the type is a Voyage Master 2, manufactured by Sperry Marine. It's a type of recorder known as a simplified recorder, which records the audio on the bridge as well as basic navigation information such as course and speed. There's a protected data capsule that is physically installed on top of the bridge. We know that there are reports that this vessel has sunk in deep water. There are ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, that are capable of being operated down to these depths. Assuming we are able to locate the vessel, the VDR could be obtained from the vessel and brought to the surface using these ROVs. All of our teams have been working around the clock to gather information and facts to determine what caused this accident in order that we can prevent these accidents from ever happening again. As to the schedule going forward, our investigation is well underway. We're working closely with our partners, and we're gathering the principal evidence and the key measurements to expedite our on-scene activities. We expect to be on scene from 7 to 10 days, but we will be here as long as it takes. Although we made good progress today, I do want to emphasize that we are still early in our investigative phase. Our objective is not just to find out what happened, but why it happened, so that we can prevent it from happening again. Let me reiterate, too, that we do not determine the probable cause of an accident while on scene, and we also do not speculate about what may have caused the accident. We'll be holding additional briefings as we have further progress to report. And for the latest information on briefings, you can follow us on Twitter at NTSB or on our website, ntsb.gov. And those who have information that might be relevant to our investigation may contact us at this email, eyewitnessreport@ntsb.gov. And we urge you to do that if you have such information. Now, we'd be happy to take a few questions, Captain Fedor and I. And to ask a question, please raise your hand and wait for me to identify you. And please state your name and your affiliate. Yes, in the back. So the question is, what was a form of communication?
All right, you've been listening to a press conference there by the U.S. Coast Guard as well as the Vice Chairman of the NTSB updating us and the rest of the world. The news now that the families of those on board the container ship El Faro know, which is that at sunset tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard will cease its rescue operations. That is the news out of Jacksonville, Florida. The Vice Chairman of the NTSB saying that for now, they're not going to speculate. It is not in their interest to speculate as to exactly what happened, but they are conducting the investigation to understand what happened and, more importantly, why it happened. We're going to continue to monitor this press conference and further briefings by the NTSB and the Coast Guard and bring you the relevant details as we get them.